Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rob Satch from Feedbackwrench. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a website for real estate. Specifically, I'm going to show you what goes into using Webflow with IDX Broker to create a real estate website. So this is going to be for people that understand Webflow a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to use a CMS with a widget that has IDX built into it through what's called IDX Broker. Now, there's a bunch of these: IDX Broker, iHome Finder, Chime. There's a lot of IDX tools out there. I'm going to show you IDX Broker because it's actually, between $60 and $120 a month, depending on what you're doing. And what this is going to do is I'm going to show you how to build a real estate website using this that satisfies queries really well so that you can win in Google and Bing in terms of organic SEO over time. And it's going to be a tool that you can use for Google Ads conversion. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to track the conversions of this in your tool, which will give you the power to help your clients run Google Ads that are running for conversions. And when you do that, you'll have a lot more success. Also, you can do cost per conversion. So in this, I'm going to show you how to use Google Tag Manager at the end and actually track this IDX Broker conversion, which is actually kind of hard. So real quick, I'm going to start out with a little bit of strategy of why I use these tools versus some of the other ones out there. So if you're a real estate agent or you're watching this, there's some tools. You could use WordPress and Webflow with IDX Broker. I really prefer Webflow because it's a faster, cleaner tool. You can do a lot more with it. It's more secure, has a CDN built into it. There's so many reasons to use Webflow. Give us a call if you want help doing this too. We have a full-time designer. We strategically build these out. And let's talk about that real quick. So the strategy in this, if you think about it, for a real estate website, the idea is you want to provide solutions to a query. And the query would be Lakeville homes for sale. When somebody searches Lakeville homes for sale, Lakeville townhomes for sale, Lakeville home or lakefront property in Lakeville, Minnesota, Lake Marion properties for sale, Lake Marion homes for sale, there's a number of queries that Zillow, Redfin, and these other guys just dominate in terms of SEO. And remember, you have kind of two things going on here. One, you have search engine optimization for these queries that would matter for you. And then second, you just say, hey, I might do some paid search advertising. We specialize in helping people do that. You need to commit good budget to it. You need to have a long-term view of it, but we can help you get in on getting in front of people searching for that. And the reason why you want to do that is because the first thing people do is they get excited about buying a new home. Nobody goes around and gets really excited about selling their home. So if you want to get in front of sellers, you need to get in front of buyers, people that are looking at new homes. The only reason why people want to sell their home with you is because they've bumped into you. And the only way to really bump into them is either A, you spam them like crazy, like the Chris Lindahls of the world, or B, you try and target them when they start looking at real estate. So that's what this is going to be. I'm going to show you for SEO and for everything. Now, whenever you do a real estate website, all of these products and website people will come to you. And here's the three parts to the tool. You have the actual website, you have the IDX listing system, and then you have the CRM kind of marketing system. It's like HubSpot or whatever it is. It's emailing, texting, and having reminders pop up. Those are the three parts: the website, the IDX listing system, and then the lead management system, or your CRM, or whatever you want to talk about. Now, all of those are three tools that matter the most here because IDX listing systems are what query the MLS system and show you listings. They're the things that actually show you what's going on. So I'm going to convert and show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. This is just the Remax results page. This is a brokerage here in Minneapolis. And if I come down to the bottom, I can see, here inside of this tool, they have city pages. So if you went with conversion, Boomtown, ROI, Real Geeks, all of these different tools, they kind of all have this system inside of it. Now, they're usually very slow as we try and find the Northfield thing. But what you'll see is you have the listings. They can do a search tool. There'll be city searches in here. And what this will be is all on the back end in the IDX system. Then you have the website. Now, the website is actually, what does a web page look like? What is each individual web page? And man, that was terribly slow. So here's like a city landing page. This is the Northfield real estate. This page is within, I know this is conversion. So conversion, or KV core, is what this is. And essentially what this is doing is showing the properties, the newest properties in Northfield. It has some information about Northfield. And then you have different sections of Northfield that you could look at. And the idea is this would be your city landing page. Each one of these is a little bit different. But this is the IDX system. If you look underneath this, everybody that has KV Core or conversion has the same IDX system. Okay. Now let's talk about a good website, or what am I talking about with a website? Well, if you were to look at the code underneath this, so if we view the page source, again, things were going really slow. This code underneath this is all identical code. There is nothing different in this website than there is. So this is the Remax Advantage Plus. There's nothing different on this website compared to what customer B that uses KV Core is, or customer C. It is all a duplicate system. These are like widgets that are serving up stuff from the IDX system. And that's one of the core problems, is that the IDX websites that are just based like this, they're all duplicate content. Google, Bing, and all of these other tools look at this landing page, literally this Northfield landing page, and I guarantee you, in fact, sometimes if you do like, you can go to Copyscape. I won't spend too much time on this, but you can even look at and try and find other sites that have this exact same term in it. And what it'll do is it'll show you every single, you gotta, whatever. It used to work a lot better. Copyscape has kind of gone down. But the idea is every single customer has that same website. Now, a good website, if you were to come into a good high quality website that ranks in organic SEO, that solves great queries, think about a tremendous blog that explains things to you, right? So what are some of the most helpful websites out there? You could say how to change your battery on MacBook Pro, right? And essentially ZDNet here, these guys have a super helpful walkthrough of how to change your MacBook Pro battery. There's pictures in here. There's links. ZDNet is a big authoritative website. This, like, we know that we can probably trust this whole tool. And because of that, Google has decided that this is expert advice. It's authoritative and it's trustworthy. So ZDNet gets the #1 ranking there. This is even a rich snippet. But as you come down, there's make use of. A good site has distinct, unique, authoritative, quality, written content that's not super thin. It actually shows you what's going on. And here's what happens, is Google's watching how people react to the content that it serves up from each website, right? So if a website has the solution to how to change a MacBook Pro battery, or if it has homes for sale, Lakeville, Minnesota, first what it's doing is it's trying to find out, okay, is this good, unique, quality content? And then from there, it looks at the authoritativeness by kind of looking at backlinks and these other things. Ultimately, it's going to make a call in, should we serve this up because it's a good solution? And the last thing that it watches is, do people actually consume the content, right? So you'll have to pay attention to that. But the starter is, in order for you to have pages that will actually rank, they need to be unique. So these IDX websites that have duplicate content are not unique. So what we will do here is we're going to create a good quality website that just looks great, functions well, has good user experience. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to create a CMS system. And this CMS system, I'm going to show you a little bit, but essentially what we do is we make a landing page for each core niche real estate type that we want to get in on. And what we do is we build out a widget in here that shows it. So here's a landing page, for example. So this is a CMS system. If you know Webflow, you understand this. And what we're seeing here is a landing page. So this is rental property for sale in the Twin Cities. This actually shows every single landing page. So rental properties for sale in Minnesota. Here are all the duplexes and multifamily homes for sale in the Twin Cities region. We have a call to action that's on every page, but then we have like a Minneapolis version. We have a Powderhorn Park version, right? And this is very simple. We have a St. Paul version. We haven't overcomplicated this. We could get in here and write big authoritative guides, but the idea is if you come here, this is a widget. So this part's part of Webflow. This is actually a widget that we build and make really easy. So the first step is that you get signed up for IDX Broker. IDX Broker is between $50 and $129 a month. Once your client is signed up for it, you will get a listing system. Now, let me show you a couple things about this. One, when I click on this, we're telling it to force a registration right away because we want leads, right? Now you can customize this a little bit. I'm going to show you how to count this as a conversion. But what you'll notice up here is that it went off to the duplexdoctors.idxbroker.com. It went off site because IDX, you'll notice here when I went in this other site, notice how it took forever, but it's not pushing off site. There's this weird thing where either you have organic SEO because you have the listing system in your database, or you push offsite. We just push offsite because whoop-de-doo. It keeps your site fast. It keeps your bandwidth open. It's just nicer. But here's what we would do is we would come in and we go to this widget. So you go design, website, and widget. And then what we do is you say create new widget. And essentially you'll come in and you'll say what type of widget. We always do a showcase widget. And the properties to feature, we're going to use the advanced search. So custom search, or you can do a polygon search. That's kind of cool too. If you want to do it like on a lake and you want to make sure that it's just drawn around a lake, that's pretty popular. But the custom search is what we usually do. And then custom search, we use advanced search. So now what this is going to allow us to do is build a search that will then show up in the widget that we create. So LMN, I'm going to just go to Minneapolis because I know there's actually some, well, whatever. We'll just do Montrose. And so here we're doing multifamily. You can do single family, lots and acreage. So you could say farms for sale in city A. You could say duplexes for sale, and we could just say, hey, this is a duplex every time. And we're going to make, what's going to show up in this widget. And you make this search, you put in the price. You could really customize this. I'm going to have it be active. I'm going to show 25 per. You can even test those results to see if there's any. I know that there's probably not, because there's not that many duplexes outside of Minneapolis in Minnesota here. EF, I know where I is. Really, I do. I guess I don't really care. MLNN. There we go. So there, and then we'll view the results and we can kind of test it. So here we go. Here's the results. And then we come down here, we can customize the actual widget. So I'm going to say, we name it. I'm going to sort it by newest listings, most expensive. I want it to be 100%. I want two columns, whatever columns, number of listings, display. And then what you do is you build this widget. Now here's the catch. This widget kicks out some JavaScript, okay? You're going to take that JavaScript and so this JavaScript has one unique modifier in it, and it's this number, okay? The number is the thing that you're actually going to look for. So what we do here is we will create a CMS collection, and in the CMS collection under cities here, you'll see that we have a spot for the IDX number. So here's the IDX number. We put that IDX number there, and then when we go into the template for the tool, we come in and we put a code, and we take the code and we slap it in there, and then what we do is we select where that number is in that code, we hit add field, and boom, now we'll have a unique one in every single landing page. So now all we have to do is we can come in and customize the rest of these pages. So that's how you do it, folks. It's really easy to get that going. Now I'm going to talk about how do you actually get this to convert and count conversions, because if you didn't know this, your customers should be running Google ads and Facebook ads. You can do them for conversions. And when you do them for conversions, you get to use machine learning and you will make them more money. The catch is to do all campaigns for conversions. Once you set the conversion up, you're going to find out how much your cost per conversion is. And then you'll want to eventually throttle it down so that you know, hey, I will buy leads at $10 a lead or $10 a lead, or whatever that is. So the way you start this out, though, is you put Google Tag Manager in the header of your website, right? And then the Google Tag Manager also will get deployed. You have to come in here and you have to make sure that you go to the website and you have to deploy it in the wrapper, okay? So you go to the website or design website wrappers, and you what you have to do is you have to tell that this site, the IDX site, the duplexdoctors.idxbroker.com, this subsite needs to grab its widget or its header and footer from somewhere, and you have to actually create a little page that only has a header and only has a footer. So you'll make a page in Webflow that has a blank section, a header, and a footer. And what that is then you will put this into the dynamic global wrapper, and then the IDX page will have the header and it will have the footer. And if I look here, I can enable this, hit and I can show you in my tag manager, my Google Tag Manager, which has my analytics, my Google Ads, my Facebook, all sorts of stuff in that tag manager is in the header now. So again, remember, you would create you should be using Google Tag Manager. Okay, you really should. It's really helpful. So, when you first get going, you go to Tag Manager, you create its own setup. You install the Tag Manager. So you go to install Google Tag Manager. There's a head and a body. You come into your. I'll move quick here because I'm sure lots of you guys are like, I know how to do this. And you'll come into the settings of a project. You'll go into the custom code and you'll put the head here and the footer code here. Once you publish that, then your website has the tag code in there. I don't use Google Tag Manager to put Facebook code in there. I've been having some trouble with that lately. It seems like Facebook is like working hard to make sure that you can't do that. Well, once that's in there, then through this one JavaScript code, the tag manager, you can deploy a number of tags. So what I do here is you have two parts in Google Tag Manager. You have triggers and tags. So a trigger would be if you click this link, if you watch a video, if you fill out this specific form, if you do this, then that's a trigger. Then you take the triggers and you can make tags. But the first thing you do is you deploy tags. There's kind of these basic ones. So you always have to put this conversion linker in there. So you add this new tag and you do you'd select this and put your Google Analytics ID number in there. You come in and you actually put the Google Analytics ID in there. So you deploy Google Analytics, you deploy the Google Ads code, remarketing code. So what I've got here is I've got the Google Analytics universal code. Then I have this Google Analytics click to call, and I'm going to show you a couple of these. I'm going fast and hard. Come to triggers here. So the idea is you have to think through what actions on this website are a conversion. Well, I know that one of them is going to be if this thing gets filled out. So this is off page and this is the difficult one. If this gets filled out, this is a conversion. That being said, if you go to theduplexdoctors.com, if you fill out this form, that's a conversion. If you go to the contact page and you hit the contact form, that's a conversion. If you click his phone number button, that's a conversion. If you click down here, that's a conversion. If you click his email link, that's a conversion. I want to set up those all in triggers. So you go to triggers. Let me show you a couple of them I have here. So what I do is I know the contact form, which is on my contact page. If this trigger is called the contact form. So if you fill out a form, a specific form, the form with the ID that is WF form-contact, that's a conversion. I do duplex doctor phone call. So if you click a link that contains TEL : and I had to do some stuff there, that's a conversion. You could have it where if they click an email, so it might be mail to : email, that would be a conversion, right? But here, find a deal form. So I have a specific form it's a WordPress form. And if it's the form ID equals this, that's a conversion. But here's the tough one, and I'll leave after we're about to end here. IDX sign up form. So I did the hard work to find out that in order to do this, you create a trigger that's a form ID, a form submission with a specific form, and it's the ID equals IDX sign up form with a capital F. I don't remember if you need the capitalization or not, but I just did it. That's how you count it as a conversion. So you do this as a trigger, and then what you do is you come over here and you would say, so I have a Google Analytics and a Google Ads. So here's the Google Analytic tag. So I say in Google Analytics, create an event, and then you label it. It's a form. And then I label it with an action. It's an IDX sign up form. And then I label it with the page URL. You hit this and you select the page URL. So basically this shows me events that I can now track and create into goals. And then down here I say the trigger is that trigger that I created. So you create the trigger, then you create this. Now that would do that for Google Analytics. Most importantly is Google Ads. So you go on to Google Ads, and when you're in Google Ads, you create a conversion. When you create the conversion, you can say it's a lead, and then that conversion, it gives you a conversion ID and a label. You put those two in there, and that would be that part of it. And then you come down and say the trigger is that form. So every time that trigger sets off, it's going to initiate this tag, and that tag is a Google Ads conversion. That's just the tip of the iceberg, but I'm telling you, the hard part is knowing that trigger. How do you create a trigger to fire on an IDX form? That was a pain. It took me forever. Here's how you do it. So it's a form, some forms, the form ID equals IDX dash sign up form with a capital F. So if you're in Webflow, I think this should be a good overview. That was long. Good luck. God bless. Think of the query. So I would make landing pages, make them like crazy. Homes for sale, duplex for sale, condos for sale, apartments for sale. If you build those up, build backlinks to them, and you put more creative content in there that's unique, you will get more conversions. And I'm telling you, you'll help your clients. So good luck. God bless. We'll talk to you later.